Welcome to the Really Likable Geeks podcast. I'm Steve.
And I'm Stuart.
And this is the podcast where we talk about nerd stuff and things to keep you from going outside, like games, movies, comic books, anime, and other nerd things alike. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Audible. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode of the Really Likable Geeks podcast. Book of the week. There's Stuart.
The book of the week is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey.
All of the Christmas.
Yeah, all of them. It actually isn't a Christmas themed book.
It is not.
No.
It is not.
And it's not for children either.
It's not.
No.
Good book, though. So give us a synopsis.
The Girl with All the Gifts. Melanie is a very special girl. Dr. Caldwell calls her our little genius. Every morning, Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant Parks keeps his gun pointing at her while two of his people strap her into the wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. Melanie loves school. She loves learning about spelling and sums and the world outside the classroom and the children's cells. She tells her favorite teacher all the things she'll do when she grows up. Melanie doesn't know why this makes Miss Justino look sad. I don't know how to say that name. It's French. The Girl with All the Gifts. Sensational thriller. Perfect for fans of Stephen King, Justin Cronin, and Neil Gaiman.
Good stuff. Good book. Movie adaptation wasn't that great.
When is it ever?
I think I say this almost every time. Like, books are usually generally better than the movies.
Book better than move picture.
Book better than moving book.
Moving picture bad.
You can pick it up for your standard book price at any major book selling store.
It's funny. I was at Barnes & Noble today, and it's $12.
Yeah. So there you go. You can get that.
I enjoy it because it's a non-traditional zombie book. And
which is good because the zombie stuff is boring now.
It's become cliche.
It's really it's super cliche. Well, it used to be the cliche of
slow zombies.
There was two zombies. I think there was two types of zombies. The first zombies was the raising of the people who are already dead come out of the graves. Mm-hmm. And then there was the other ones where it's like there was like a worldwide epidemic of something happened and turned them into like these parasitic people.
Yeah.
You know, that's the second version. And then there was just fast ones and slow ones.
Yeah.
But now, like, I don't know. The Walking Dead, I feel like, ruined a lot of zombies.
The Walking Dead, the show, ruined a lot of things because that show's terrible. And anybody that likes it is stupid. I feel like,
and what was it? War Z? Wasn't that good?
World War Z, the book was good. They kind of, here's the thing. World War Z, the book was mostly like vignettes of little one shots of different people and how they're coping with, you know,
with living among them.
Zombies being everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a second one coming out. But the World War Z movie was about like Brad Pitt and like
it was not good.
His like stupid family. Like I was honestly hoping that his family would die so it would make his character more interesting.
Oh my god. I agree, though.
His family added nothing to the movie.
Agreed.
Like, it was completely irrelevant to have the first, like, 25 minutes with his family.
Yeah.
Because then he, like, goes and does, like, all this other, like, far more interesting stuff. Like, when he's in Israel in that town that... Is it Jerusalem?
Sure.
That's walled? I
don't remember.
Yeah, when he's in Jerusalem. And they're, like, fighting... You know, and there's this giant
and there's just like a giant like wave of zombies off the wall.
Yeah, way more interesting than like him and his family like escaping from New York.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. It's like...
Because that would just been another like I Am Legend.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, I don't know.
And there was a movie that wasn't very good either. So.
No. You know why? Because it
was decent, but
we've talked about this.
We have talked about this.
About why the book was so much. It was sad that the dog died.
Yeah,
it's always sad when the dog dies.
It's always sad when any animal dies.
But that's even been cliche. Like the animal companion that dies.
Yeah.
There's
like
always
just
one,
there's always one in every.
Whenever you see an animal companion that like
you're like that,
the main character is heavily invested in is gonna die.
Yep.
John Wick, and then we see what happens when that does. Yeah, John Wick.
Yeah, freaking
killed so many people.
Keanu Reeves will come and kill you, the boogeyman.
Yeah. I don't even know why you would kill the dog, but then he's Theon Greyjoy. He does things like that.
Fair.
So.
Zombies are cool. You know, this is not what this show's about.
Not at all. You know, actually, weird fun fact. You know the actor Alfie Allen, who plays Theon Greyjoy, and he was in John Wick, the first one?
Yes.
His sister is Lily Allen.
What?
The pop singer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the song Alfie is about him.
Who's their father? Is it Woody Allen?
No, they're British. They're British, and she's insane.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't about zombies. This isn't about any of that, actually, this week. And actually, it's just me and Stuart this week. We're without Matt.
He died.
We miss you. We miss you, Matt.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Oh, my gosh. Matt did not die, making that clear. Okay.
He's undead.
We're not going there. This week, we're talking about something that's very important. I feel it's very important to talk about, and you do as well. And that is net neutrality.
Settle in, man. It's going to be a boring episode.
It's going to be a boring episode. There's only two of us here, and we're talking about net neutrality.
Yeah, and it's really...
If you don't listen to it, we don't blame you.
Well, the thing is that...
It is really important, though, that we talk about this.
It has a
really
lot
is.
to do with the geek culture, I feel like, because it's internet.
Like
there would be no like communication of the geek culture if there wasn't the internet, because none of us go outside.
If there was no internet, if all this stuff that happened, the basically what we're doing right now, we couldn't do this right now. We couldn't share it. We couldn't say what we're saying. Couldn't voice our opinions. None of that. We couldn't even just like, I don't know. It's whack. Like we could have this same conversation offline, but the moment we put it online, like it wouldn't be able to get published. Nobody would be able to hear it, and we probably get dinged for it.
I mean, for better or worse, the internet has given us all a voice, and it has given us all the ability to communicate our opinions, and whether you agree with them or not is irrelevant to the fact that we have the freedom to do that.
Yes. So
why don't you just tell us what net neutrality is?
I'm going to read this thing about what is net neutrality, because I'm sure I know that
there's a lot of discussion from both sides of the argument about what net neutrality actually is.
Yes. And this is literally what net neutrality is. If you don't know what it is, we're going to educate you, and this might be a really good episode for you to listen to. So sit back and become educated. So net neutrality is...
Prepare for education.
Prepare for education. Net neutrality is the internet's guiding principle. It preserves our right to communicate freely online. Net neutrality means an internet that enables and protects free speech. It means that internet service providers should provide us with open networks and shouldn't block or discriminate against any applications or content that ride over those networks. Just as your phone company shouldn't decide who you call and what you say on that call, your internet service provider shouldn't interfere with the content that you view or post online. Without net neutrality, cable and phone companies could carve the internet into fast and slow lanes. An internet service provider could slow down its competitors' content or block political opinions it's disagreed with. Internet service providers could charge extra fees to the new content companies that could afford to pay for different treatments. It relegating everyone else to a slower tier of service. This would destroy free speech. Internet. It would just destroy it. So, well, excuse me, beer is hard. So why is this important? Well, like I said when we were off the show before we started this. It's like your right to free speech.
I mean, it comes down to people who want the internet to be treated like any other utility, like water, gas, electricity, the phone line.
Mm-hmm. The basic elements.
Yeah, the basic utilities that you pay for.
Yes.
And why you have to look at who the proponents are who are against net neutrality. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that the telecom companies are against net neutrality because they want the freedom in order to censor what you can and can't view on the internet.
Right.
This isn't a hypothetical thing. They tried to do it so many times before that. Mm. And the fact is they're citing, their personal freedom to not have government oversight. And at some point, the government does have to step in and create regulations to govern utility companies. Mm-hmm. Like that's been true forever. We have regulations that prevent price gouging from, in California, we all have Edison. Mm. There are specific laws in place to prevent Edison from saying, oh, well, Yeah. Well, I'm just going to raise the bill of everyone.
Yep,
And
period.
What are you going to do? Go to the other electric company?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it prevents price gouging.
Yes. Without net neutrality, we basically don't have the internet.
No.
It
would not be the same.
It would not be the same. So let me go into what would happen if we lost net neutrality. Because now we know what net neutrality is, which is it's the right to freely do whatever you want, essentially, within certain things. There are some things you cannot do on the internet, and I think that's just known.
Those are the things you can't do on the internet are because of laws.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
prevent that things like I don't know what's the first thing? Child pornography. Yeah, like
sure.
That I mean that.
But
the dark web. The dark.
Is,
someone brought up our peanut gallery brought up the dark web. The dark web.
That's what you are.
The dark web is different. The
dark web is
completely different. We're talking about
the dark web is like the black market of the internet.
So, okay, but that's
no, you're right.
But here's why this is different. The dark web is any website that cannot be accessed through basic internet browsers such as Chrome, Google,
Firefox,
so on and so
whatever,
forth. They don't have a set internet address that you can. I know, that's why I'm telling you. They don't have a set internet access you can get to. You can't Google something on the dark web.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the same appearance of IP address.
Yeah.
So
Dark
that's
web's
different.
bad juju.
That is completely unregulated because you can't regulate that. It's the same way that like there are certain countries and cities where there just are because there's no governing body.
Yeah, think about China. China has, while China is a communist country. I'm sorry. They have no Facebook out there. They have no YouTube out there. They have no Netflix out there. None of that stuff out there because, well, first off, China's very much on the spectrum of anything that could be harmful or damaging to the government, Chinese government, needs to be just abolished completely.
Yeah.
And obviously when you have platforms like Facebook and YouTube where people can voice those opinions and say whatever they want because it is a free platform, how do you prevent that from happening? You ban it globally. You ban it across your country. So yeah, there are some. You're exactly right.
But there's no way to regulate the dark web because it doesn't have a physical, tangible form.
Yeah.
Whereas like actual websites like Netflix, like I know where the Netflix HQ is. It's here.
Yeah.
I can go to that address. This is where their servers are.
Right.
The dark web isn't like that.
No,
it's shadow.
It's everywhere.
I think the best explanation of the dark web I ever saw was imagine an iceberg. That when you see an iceberg when you're on a boat, you're only seeing like 10 to 20% of the actual iceberg, and the majority of it is underwater.
Yeah.
The tip of the iceberg is the internet that we can access with Google, Chrome. If you're an idiot,
Get
Internet
information
Explorer.
about it. Yeah.
The dark
Browsers.
web, yeah, browsers. The dark web is everything underneath. The dark web is, thousands of times larger
I do not
than the
encourage
actual
anyone
internet.
to go to the dark web. No more than I encourage people to go to 4chan either. But that's not the point.
I mean, it's fair.
So anyway, what would happen if we lost net neutrality? What if we lost the ability to do this, to produce this show and put it online and have people listen to it? What would happen if we lost that ability? So, we stated, without net neutrality, the internet isn't the internet. It's not open. It's not a free platform. It's a okay. People love cat videos. I don't care who you are. You've seen a cat video. How crappy would it be if you couldn't watch a cat video because we didn't have net neutrality and because it was like, people don't like cats. So you can't watch cats.
You can't watch Mr. Snuffles because he said some pretty anti-government
rhetoric.
rhetoric.
Said meow meow, not meow meow.
Yeah.
That. It's like that. So what would happen if we lost it? Unlike the open internet that has paved the way for so much innovation and given a platform to people who have historically been shut out, it would become a closed down network where cable and phone companies call the shots and decide which websites, content, or applications actually continue to succeed and thrive in a digital platform. This would have an enormous impact. companies like, and I'm just gonna name drop them. Companies like AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon would be able to decide who is heard and who isn't. They'd be able to block websites or content they don't like or applications that compete with their own offerings, as we've explained.
Yeah,
before.
like so. For instance, if I said Comcast is the worst customer support company ever, and
Fair.
I can back that up with factual evidence. There's many different polls that the Better Business Bureau and other accredited divisions have done where they've asked, like, on customer satisfaction rating, like, what would you give Comcast? Comcast has consistently rated below the IRS.
Yeah, it's bad.
People are more satisfied with the customer service at the Internal Revenue Service
Comcast sucks.
than Comcast.
Comcast is
the
garbage.
company that literally takes your money out of your checks and taxes.
It's bad.
People are happier with them
Yeah.
than with Comcast.
Yeah.
So
Without net neutrality, how would activists be able to fight against like oppression? How would you be able to do that? What would happen to social movements? Like, I hate to say it, but like for Black Lives, you couldn't do that. How would the next disruptive technology business or company emerge if the internet service providers only let just complete imbeciles succeed? Like
only people who toe the party line.
Could you imagine?
Verizon's great.
I watch.
We love it.
I watch news. I watch the news. I wake up in the morning and I watch the news. I do.
On the TV?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow.
I watch.
That's crazy.
KTLA, and I watch Good Morning America sometimes. Like whatever. Fox News, CNN.
You watch
I just
Morning
kind of
Joe?
like. Yeah. I just kind of
Man.
jump around and watch. Whatever. But how sucky it would be if you were just stuck to watching freaking CNN.
Government approved news.
Yeah. How would you like that?
In country today, everything great.
Yeah.
Eternal leader. Protect us all.
Yeah.
It'd be North Korea.
How would you like that? And the other thing too is ease of access. Like the internet's very on demand. It's whenever you want it. How would you like it if you couldn't do that? You couldn't just log on and do stuff. You had to 4:00. Like, better get on and do it. Or we're gonna miss
turn
it.
on the TV and watch the government news.
Yeah,
the government mandated news. I have to watch.
Yes.
It'd be like 1984.
It'd be bad.
Where you are required to watch the government feed because Big Brother is watching you to make sure you're watching.
Yes.
Well, 1984 came out about 60 years before that, so
Yes.
I'm going to say that.
So
it's not the Hunger Games.
The question that I know that some people will ask, and this is something I've seen on Reddit quite a bit, and other social media networks, and people are like, "What's the big deal about net neutrality? Didn't we already win that? Didn't we already do that?" And it's
a
just
fight that we have to continue fighting every day.
It's like, yes, we did.
We did with Title II.
We did it for a decade. Or something like that.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go all the way back to the Telecom Act of 1996, yes, we won there. We won when Title II passed.
I was going to get there, yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about Telecom of 96, and we'll talk about Title II.
After a decade, the FCC adopted net neutrality rules based on Title II of the Communications Act, giving Internet users the strongest protection possible. But ever since then, opponents have done everything they can to destroy net neutrality. And Chairman Pai,
which we will talk about,
a former Verizon lawyer,
I'll get into that,
is moving fast to destroy the open internet. And he definitely needs to be stopped.
Well, let me talk about.
And I don't want to sound like I'm like a radical or anything, but he does. That dude needs to be stopped.
Let's break down who is Ajit Pai. He's the current head of the FCC.
Yes.
He has held, over his career, he's held multiple positions through the FCC. He was part of the team that drafted the Telecommunications Act of 1996. But in his time after he left the Department of Justice in February of 2001, he served as Associate General... He served as Associate General Counsel at Verizon Communications, where he handled competition matters, regulatory issues, and counseling of business units on broadband initiatives. Now, in 2003, he left Verizon and was hired as Deputy Chief Counsel to the United States Senate Judiciary Committee Subcommittee on Administrative Oversight and the Courts. While that sounds like a very complicated title, and it is,
because it is.
basically what he was doing is that he was advising senators on different telecommunications and internet-based laws. So the guy who worked for Verizon as an attorney trying to shut down lawsuits against them and the way that they were gouging customers and silencing freedom of speech is now advising senators on how they should vote on those same acts. And now he's the head of the FCC. So you can't...
What a coincidence.
Yeah, you can't say that there's no backhanded deals between the telecom companies and the people that we've elected in order to enact laws. Like, it's a complete conflict of interest. And however you feel about Trump, because we're not going to get into that.
We're not going to go politics too much.
I mean, we try not to, but
yeah.
the fact is that, like, it's with the internet, you can't not, because they're trying to stop us from doing whatever we want on the internet.
Yeah. They're trying to regulate something that's been free since the invention
inception.
of since the invention of the internet.
The whole point of the internet was for freedom.
Yeah. And that's the way it should stay. I think it is. I couldn't imagine having to be regulated for watching freaking YouTube videos.
No,
or
because
watching,
then
or
when
anything. That's so stupid.
because here's the thing: if they're able to regulate what you can and cannot watch, then at what point do they stop? Oh, you can watch this, but you can't watch this. At what point does it become like you have to watch this?
Oh, yeah, like you're forced to.
Yes,
they make you do.
And
something,
I know this is like such a.
It's like ads. Aren't ads annoying?
I know, and this is such like a tinfoil hat like argument.
Okay, Mel Gibson.
I know, but it is 1984.
I
That's
know.
like the exact process of what happened.
Yeah.
Like if you read Orwell, this is exactly what he was fighting against. The reason why he wrote 1984 was because he saw the future. He saw where, in his books, it was pure governmental control over people's, entertainment. But now it's, major corporations who fund the campaigns for politicians who then get elected and like, oh, well, Verizon gave me $500,000 on my campaign. I better push through this bill that they want. You know what I mean? Instead of just straight governmental control, it's now corporations controlling politicians who enact favorable policies and laws. And it's not that much of a stretch. I mean, we've seen it happen before with the oil industry.
Yeah.
What was it? Goldman Sachs paid Hillary, what was it, $30 million for a 45-minute speech. You don't think that's weird? I've heard her talk.
Yeah.
She's not worth that much.
No.
Whether you like her or not, she's very shrewish. You know what I mean? Like her voice. I would not. She's not.
It'd be like trying to like hear like any sort of speech from our president, but it's just high pitched like Fred from YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
it's very.
It's Fred. Like,
Yeah,
my fellow Americans.
she's very shrewish.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you're exactly right.
God.
She's not much to look at
She's
either.
Not much to look at. I mean, Trump ain't much to look at either.
No wonder Bill was stepping out for 20 years.
Hey,
Monica. It's fantastic.
It's great.
Oh man, just like a really quick thing. Speaking of Bill stepping out, did you see like the DNC speech he gave about how he's been in love with her for 30 years?
No.
Like, okay, Bill, pull the other one. Like, come on, dude. I've been in love with her since the first time I met her at college. It's like, and then I saw next one walk by.
And then I looked to the left.
Yeah. Nobody believes that.
Oh my gosh, Bill Clinton.
Anyways, Ajit Pai has a very specific agenda. He
wants to regulate the internet.
He wants to regulate the internet. And he's going to do that by lying to you.
Yeah.
Because all that he's said, all of his rhetoric is, we can't allow the government to control telecommunications companies because then it'll prevent them from reinvesting in infrastructure, which is a lie. That's a straight out lie. And if you don't believe me, you can Google the CEO, or I'm sorry, the VP of, no, it is a CEO. He was on a shareholders call, a conference call, where he says that Title II will not affect the reinvestment into Verizon infrastructure. Why would it? How is not allowing a company to gouge its customers going to prevent them from reinvesting in infrastructure? On top of that, are you saying that if we prevent gouging by telecommunications companies, that the internet's going to collapse and that Verizon's really depending on all this gouging? Or it's just Verizon's gonna go under. They're gonna file Chapter 11. No, that's stupid.
It's not gonna happen.
That's absolutely false.
Yeah, and it's funny too because a lot of people think that a lot of people do think that we have the internet, but we only have it through these certain providers. We have, Charter and Verizon and AT&T and Frontier and all these Comcast and Time Warner and all these people. That's not true. Deadmau5, the EDM artist. He has his own internet at his house.
Yeah.
How are you going to regulate that? You can't.
Here's the thing: is that people pay these telecom companies.
You can make your own internet
for convenience.
I'm telling you, people.
If you want to, you can go out there and do it yourself. And that's another thing that Title II protects is the ability to set up your own ISP. Basically,
yeah. It's a little difficult to do.
It's extreme,
but you can do it.
Difficult.
You can do it.
I would say probably 30 YouTube videos, tutorial,
something like that.
It'd be a lengthy one.
But you'd be set.
Yeah, you could do it, but I mean, you still have to tap into somebody's network, and
it's like this. Okay,
it's to say you wouldn't be completely off the grid. You still have to tap in and pay someone,
yeah.
But it wouldn't be as much as you're paying now.
Yeah.
Overall,
in a way, I had a conversation about this, by the way, during the week because I had mentioned to a buddy of mine that we were going to talk about net neutrality, and he was talking to me. He's like, I have something that maybe you should bring up on the podcast. I want to bring this up. Net neutrality is the control of content on the internet, essentially, as we've already discussed. Think about your internet service provider right now. Okay, my buddy Harrison, he lives in Texas. He has AT&T. He sent me a screenshot of his up and down speeds. It's 3 down and 1 up.
3 megs?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's bad.
That's really not good.
Could you imagine?
It's like some dial-up speeds right there.
It's bad. I think dial-up's faster. He said he downloaded a PDF file for Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. And it took him 2 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about that, because if you regulate the internet, you regulate the speeds, you regulate everything, all that, and it's already isn't it already annoying to have high speed internet? I have over 100 up, over 100 down. I would it's that's great. I have the freedom to download and upload all that stuff, but I don't have anything to use it on. And what if they start regulating your speeds too? What if you had to? It's like your phone.
You got to pay.
You go over 10 gigabytes, so now it's $10 per additional gigabyte. Internet would be so expensive.
Oh yeah, no one would have it.
It would kill. It would die.
Here's the other thing.
Back to the freaking Stone Age.
Here's the other thing is that, I'm sure there are people gonna call us out and say we're crazy because we're coming up with all these.
They won't, because nobody comments on our stuff.
Well, I'm saying, I get a lot of personal comments on the street.
Too.
People throwing rotten fruit and so on and so forth.
Fair. I don't get that.
So some of those people are probably going to say, hey, Stuart, you guys are throwing out a lot of hypothetical situations.
We're not.
We're not, because I can actually provide actual evidence of gouging by telecom companies to other corporations. So if you were a Comcast customer in 2013, I'm sorry. And on top of that, you might have noticed.
If you still are.
I'm really sorry. It's terrible. It's a terrible, evil company.
Yeah.
If you were a customer in late 2013, early 2014, you might have noticed that if you had Netflix, that you were unable to watch Netflix. And the reason is that, according to Netflix, and we're going to use allegedly so we don't get sued, Comcast came to Netflix and they demanded that Netflix pay them an undisclosed sum. And in order for their customers to access the Netflix server and watch different videos and so on. Netflix said, no, why would we pay you anything? Like, that's not how that works. Like, why are we going to pay you to have your customers and our customers have better access to our content through your your internet?
Right.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And so and this is why, because Netflix basically told them like where they could stick it. Suddenly every Comcast customer cannot watch Netflix and Netflix starts losing customers. Comcast is a major company. Like, I think it was something like 30% of internet in America is provided by Comcast. I think was the last
something like that
poll.
Let me look.
So 30% of America, that's a huge hit to Netflix, especially in 2013 when they were having that huge expansion. You know, the late, 2010 to 2015 was when Netflix really hit the open market. Netflix was big when it was just sending people DVDs, but when it switched to streaming, that was when it exploded and they killed Blockbuster. They killed a huge
Hollywood Video. All that stuff.
But Blockbuster was an institution.
Yeah.
Was an American institution.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Like, anyone who's over 20 remembers going to Blockbuster and like, oh, I got renting a new movie. Like, that was how I watched most of the movies in my childhood was Blockbuster rentals.
Yep.
That was how I played most of the video games in my childhood was Blockbuster rentals because it was cheaper to rent and beat the game and then return it than it was to buy the whole game. You know what I mean? So
Comcast currently has 22 million.
22 million customers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Making Comcast the largest cable television company in the United States.
So I'm sorry, I was way off then. That's like 10%.
Yeah.
That's
still a lot.
That's like 9% of Americans. So, you guys, I don't know if you guys can see this, but these are the rebuffering rates of Comcast customers for Netflix through the end of 2013. And then you see that huge spike. That was when Netflix paid them. So it was a shakedown.
Crazy, right?
It was a shakedown. There's no other way to put that.
That's quite the spike.
Comcast shook down Netflix. They showed up with their suits like, oh, maybe your customers get a little bit faster internet service, because you grease a couple palms, pays a little bit. There's no other way to do that. It's a friggin' Godfather with him going like, this is a nice shop. Be a shame if someone was to break all your stuff. Maybe you pay us for protection.
Got a lot of nice things right here.
Yeah.
Be a shame some of it just fell off the shelves.
Be a shame if we broke some of your nice things you got here. That was. There's
That's a
no
nice
other
daughter you have. Be nice if she just disappeared overnight.
Be a shame if something happened to your nice family, huh? There's no other way to put that. It's a shakedown.
It is.
And you want to allow
it's a nice house you got here. Would be a shame if you can never do anything in it.
Yeah, and you want to allow these people, these crooks, to have complete control over what you can view on the internet? Come on.
Come on. I got to read this thing.
Forget about it.
What's the coming to go? I got to read this thing. So I want to remind everyone that this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Audible. Thank you, Audible, for supporting this episode of the Really Likable Geeks podcast. Audible has an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original shows, news, and more that you can listen to on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or standard MP3 player. For our audience, Audible is offering a free audiobook with 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. We recommend to you Divergent, written by Veronica Roth and narrated by Emma Galvin. You can keep the book even if you cancel.
It's still Divergent?
It's still Divergent.
Sweet.
To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/RLG and browse our unmatched selection of audio content. It's that easy. audibletrial.com/RLG. That's audibletrial.com/RLG. RLG. Thank you, Audible, for what? Oh, sorry, you're looking at me weird. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Audible.
So, you're pointing at me. That's fine.
That's fine. No, that normally happens. Oh, no. It's
fine.
That's
Net neutrality, why? No,
oh, they found us.
I had a little technical issue.
We weren't wearing our tinfoil underwear.
No.
They're irradiating our testicles.
That has everything to do with everything.
It has everything to do with everything.
Don't ask questions we don't know the answers to. So, all right. So, I guess now we should talk about
Let's talk
what is. Why don't you educate on why Title II is so important? I know we said Title II, but we never really talked about Title II. So
cool. Title II is the part of the Telecom Act of 1996 that protects the end. I mean, it really protects the end user. It protects customers from their telecom company that they subscribe to: AT&T, Verizon, Charter,
whoever.
Yeah, Warner or
Time Warner.
Comcast. It prevents them
Xfinity.
from them deciding what you can and cannot access on the internet. So without Title II, basically, Verizon could decide, I don't really like YouTube anymore. I'm going to slow down the access speed of all of my customers to YouTube just because I don't like the videos that YouTube has been putting out.
Yep.
Or I don't like this rhetoric that's been going around Facebook. I'm going to slow down the access speed. Or you could pay a little bit more a month and you would have perfect access to Facebook. Or, okay, so there's a YouTube subscription fee. And none of that money goes to YouTube.
Would suck.
But that's what Title II prevents.
Yeah, I know. That would suck
So
if that's how it was.
Taking
What
that
about
out is
YouTube? You
ridiculous.
can for $10 more a month.
With none of that money going to YouTube.
Yeah. God, that would suck.
Not that YouTube needs money, but it's the
could
principle.
You imagine
it's the
having a
principle of it.
website and then paying for the website, but then having to pay to access the website once it's up?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, it's
That would suck.
there would be no limit. It would be the Wild West of the internet, except the bad one.
Yeah, he wants to. Pi wants to go back to the light touch, the Title One
Yeah.
Act, which is so stupid.
They've already
He wants to give the control of the internet to the companies that violated it.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, Pi
That's
wants
like
to. He
that's
wants
like
to,
saying let me just qualify this statement. I own guns. I think I like guns. Guns are fun when you use safely and properly. But I wouldn't.
Guns are fun.
I wouldn't allow the NRA control over gun regulation. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wouldn't allow the oil industry regulation over electric cars.
I'm not gonna let Subway regulate the sandwich industry.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not gonna have McDonald's.
Look at me like that.
I'm not gonna have McDonald's as the new.
I like In-N-Out. I don't want to have to.
I like In-N-Out too, but I'm
just
saying
I don't want McDonald's to be like, you can't have In-N-Out. You can only have Archie's burgers.
Well, I'm not gonna have them be
went
like
somewhere way off
the head of the nutritional board. Like, oh, McDonald's came out with a new food pyramid. Apparently, you need at least 2 McFlurries a day and 5 orders of fries. That's weird.
It's going to cost you,
but not
$100.
anybody else's fries. McDonald's fries because they
cost
have
you $100.
they have healthy nutrients.
I would eat them. McDonald's fries are delicious.
but they're not healthy.
I don't care.
All right, that's fine.
I just like food. Sorry.
This went a weird direction. That
Yeah.
metaphor got away from us.
Sorry. I'm hungry.
So recently, the FCC claimed. Can you see the air quotes I'm doing?
Oh, I can see them.
Okay. Claimed it was the target of a DDoS attack. New reports suggest that may be true and that nearly 500,000 fraudulent comments may have been made in the FCC system in support of Chairman Ajit Pai's efforts to gut net neutrality. So
What does this mean, Stuart?
Oh, man. So basically,
Oh, man.
the FCC has a website and they allow any new bill that they're thinking about passing or deregulating. In this case, it was Title II they were trying to gut. And they allow people to freely log in and to say, you are stupid, I hate you, do not do that. Or, whatever comments.
Yeah.
So they claim that they were the victims of a DDoS attack.
And they weren't.
Yeah, and
weren't.
The evidence shows that. Oh, well, if you were, it was all comments that were supporting you.
And it wasn't.
So
Such horse hockey.
they didn't have the FCC didn't have any problems with fraudulent comments that supported their plans.
Of course, dude.
Yeah, and despite I'm pulling this all from a Forbes article. Despite calls for evidence and an investigation, the FCC says it plans to consider all of the comments as it moves forward. Huh, that's weird. They have a bunch of people saying, hey, there was a bunch of bot comments that were uploaded, and it was in favor of what you want to do. Don't you guys care? And they're like, nah, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Who even understands the internet? I mean, it's not really our job to understand.
Food. What's up with that?
It's not really our job to understand telecommunications. We're only the federal. That's not really under our purview.
Right.
So the letter states from the FCC, based on numerous media reports, nearly 500,000 Americans may have been impacted by whoever impersonated us in a dishonest and deceitful campaign to manufacture false support for your plan to repeal net neutrality.
It's going to get repealed anyway.
It goes on to say,
as long as Anonymous exists.
While it may be convenient for you to ignore this, given that it was done in an attempt to support your position, it cannot be the case that the FCC moves forward on such a major public debate without properly investigating this known attack. So, it wasn't just bot comments, because on the FCC it actually has to be a real person.
Yeah, you have all the verifications.
Yeah, there's a lot of verification
et cetera.
for, well, not only that, but you have to verify that you are who you say you are.
Right.
So you can't you as Steven could not log in as dead Matt.
Right.
You have to prove that you are Steven.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I realize what you just did.
So all these people who were supposedly in support of it are real people.
Yeah.
And they're
No,
like,
they're not.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
They're like, why would I support that? I am against that. And the FCC was like, I know that millions of people were impersonated, and they just so happened to support us, but it's not really important. Who cares about that?
Yeah. What's important is that we want to control the internet. And so let's see here.
One of the let me finish this though. One of the guys who was impersonated actually reached out to the FCC because it was important to him that he was being impersonated on the internet, his real name.
Oh yeah.
And this was the official response from the FCC. Oh, it's actually a statement from Ajit himself. I encourage broad participation in this rulemaking, as in any FCC rulemaking. And what matters most are the quality of the comments, not the quantity.
What?
I think if you have the majority of the comments against you, but they're just, I hate you, no, or if they're are spelling errors, I don't think that's relevant.
No.
But anyways, let's keep going. We will make our decision based on the facts that are in the record and on the relevant law that is prevented. And obviously, fake comments such as the one submitted last week by The Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Superman are not going to dramatically impact our deliberations on this issue. So obviously, there were people who impersonated Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Or Clark Kent, or Diana Prince, or Barry Allen, or I guess one of the other Flashes. It could have been any of the Flash.
Flash Gordon, sorry.
Save
every one of us.
So that's the one he brings up. The people who were against the ending of net neutrality. He brings up those examples, not the ones that supported him. So that's interesting. This is an issue that's impacted me personally, as hundreds of comments, as I've seen, have been submitted under my own name, which is pretty funny. Now, there's obviously a tension between having open process where it's easy to comment and preventing questionable comments from being filed. And generally speaking, this agency has erred on the side of openness. We want to encourage people to participate in as easy and accessible a way as possible. That is categorically untrue.
Yes.
Because if any of you out there had tried to comment on this like I had, you would have known it's super complicated to get to that. They made it as difficult as possible. They made it more difficult than it used to be.
Yeah.
In order to get to the page where you could leave a comment, I had to go through like 6 or 7 different hyperlinks. Which how is that leading to openness? Luckily, what's his name? John Oliver started his own website, and it was just a direct link to the comment. Board.
I think it's because
and
they
it was
know
go
that
FCC yourself.
The internet
.com.
People know that when I go to somewhere on the webpage, I want to get there and I want to get exactly what I'm looking for, and I want to do that and then leave. So if I had to jump through hoops and stuff like that, I'm just gonna be like, bah, bah, bah. So if I had to do that, go through all these different links and backlinks and everything like that to get to where I needed to go, I would have just given up. Like, that's probably what the point was.
No, he goes on to say, of course, this is not new. Fake comments were filed in the 2014-15 proceedings under names like Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and Stalin, just to name a few. This time around, I think the bottom line is I urge everyone who's interested in this issue to participate in the process in an honest and forthright way. And that is, I think, the best way to make sure your voice is heard. So the guy responded with a follow-up email clarifying that the statement doesn't really address the original question, which, oh man, a politician danced around the real issue? What? And that he was specifically asking about the letter from the victims of identity theft used for fraudulent comments and the speculation that there could be nearly 500,000 such comments. The FCC has not responded, surprisingly.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump into this really quick because I had this specifically charted out for this show because, okay, do you know who Bill Moyer is? Yeah. Bill Moyer frustrated me. BillMoyers.com. Just go to the website. I don't give a crap. Frustrated the crap out of me. Had an article on the 25th. 6 things the FCC chairman doesn't want you to know about net neutrality. These are so bogus. So they frustrate me. Okay. One of the things is the American public overwhelmingly supports the net neutrality protections. Do we?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
The American public totally and completely overwhelmingly supports the net neutrality protections.
I mean, I do.
Okay. Great.
Well, I mean, most people do.
I
don't know any. I haven't talked to anyone who is against net neutrality.
That's the thing. Is
how does that make sense? Do they not understand the issue?
I don't think they do. So
okay, so that was the thing. That's not true. I know a couple of my friends who aren't like big tech savvy, and so all they got was like the CNN spin or the whatever spin on it. So they thought that. They were like, oh, well, I don't want more government regulation. But after I explained to them that the regulation is there in order to protect the customer, the same way that like price gouging laws are there to protect the customer. And it's not new government regulation. It's the same government regulation that we have for every other utility applied to the internet because the internet is a utility. That after I explained it to them in that context of like the truth, then they were like, "Oh, well, then yeah, I'm for that."
Okay.
I don't want people deciding who I can and can't call. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. Net neutrality is not government regulation of the internet, but I would say it is.
It's government. It's government regulation of the companies that provide the access to the internet.
Yes,
which is a fine point, but it's important. It's a parsing of words, but it's an important distinction.
Yes.
The net neutrality isn't like the government's going to we're going to control the internet. The government's going to prevent your access to the internet through these telecom companies.
Right.
That's different.
Totally different.
Because no governing body can control the internet. The internet is
I think
ethereal.
It would be
it's
and here's the thing too about this.
It's intangible.
I really feel that net neutrality, this whole thing about regulation of the internet and everything, it's not going to happen. There's no way it's going to happen. Here's why. Think about all the grandmas out there. Just think about all the grandmas and grandpas out there in the world. Mm-hmm. What do they have? A lot of them have Facebook, right? Why do they have Facebook?
Connection.
Connectivity. Because they like to see their grandkids and they like to see their sons and daughters and cousins and everyone, see what they're doing, and they want to interact. How you can't do that anymore?
Oh, we're gonna Verizon has a new Facebook tax. You got to pay $10 extra to access Facebook.
Not allowed to do that. They're gonna be like, "What?
Yeah,
That sucks."
People don't understand that that Title II
It's not gonna happen.
prevents that from happening.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. There's no way that regulation of the internet will happen. There's just no way. Dude, I stream on Twitch.
Do you? I didn't know that.
I do. And it's a no-brainer that Twitch has the website itself has a terms of service. There's things against, gambling, being racial stuff, religious stuff. There's all this things with the LGBT community, all this stuff that you cannot do or you'll lose your account, or that you'll lose or you'll get something will happen. You'll be suspended, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's like a no-brainer as well. If you're live on a platform, I can't go on national television and just start like screaming like obscenities, racial obscenities.
Well,
I'm gonna get hit for it.
Here's the difference.
It would be different.
That has to do with FCC regulations about certain words that you can't say on television.
Right.
Now, you can say something that's racist, but it's your personal view.
You can say it clean,
as long as you say it without
tame.
using certain words.
Yeah.
You can say, I hate this group of people because I don't like them.
Yeah.
And I don't like what they do.
As long as you're tame and
yeah,
clean
I don't like
it.
white people because they like mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise eating SOBs. I don't like
K-Cat bar eating sons of bitches.
I don't like I don't like how they're always wearing shorts that are above their knees.
What?
I don't like the typical like suburban dad with the shorts.
Yeah.
The 1970s basketball shorts.
Yeah.
The angel flights and I just don't like white people. I think they're less than human. You can say that.
Yeah, you could.
That's fine. That's freedom of speech.
But what
you
you're
don't
really
like white
trying
people
to say is, and then
if you don't like white people,
I can't
that's
do
fine.
that. I can't
That's
say
freedom of
that
speech.
stuff on Twitch, on that platform. That's their terms of service. Okay, if I do that, I get punished for it.
Yeah.
If this were to happen, I couldn't even stream. I couldn't even stream. Like, there was a big deal that happened, for example, with music copyright. Hit the internet pretty hard, which was like, if I made a YouTube video and I played a Katy Perry song in it, I couldn't monetize that video. Mm-hmm. People are like, what? Like, I made that video, but you're using someone else's stuff. You can't do that. It's the same thing on Twitch. Twitch has a thing now.
Yeah,
you're
you're really taking money out of her pocket,
right? That's the thing. That's the thing that bothers me.
And that's like I know this is a separate issue.
Yeah, like I don't want to touch too much on
but the
that,
fact is that the music industry has never made the bands don't make the majority of their money off album sales. They make the majority of their money off tours.
And tours, yeah.
Yeah, they make.
I know that because Billy's an artist.
Yeah,
and he tells me all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I know that because I grew up in a music family. Like, you make your money off tours and shows.
Yeah.
And merch at shows, not off album sales.
No.
That's why, like,
you get a percentage.
What was
of
it
that
like
sale.
8 or 9 years ago when Radiohead came out with their Rainbows album?
Yeah.
And they gave it away for free.
Oh,
And people were like, how could they do that? It's like, well, because they don't make any money off album sales.
There was another guy that did that to release the album for free. I don't remember who it was. But like, yeah, take it, whatever. Dude, freaking System of a Down had an album called "Steal This Album."
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they were doing a play off of Abby Hoffman's
right.
"Steal This Book."
Yeah,
but it was the same general idea. I think with a lot of artists who aren't, so bourgeois and ivory tower, blah, blah, the important thing to them is that their music is heard, not that they pay to hear their music.
Exactly. So
I'm looking at you, Metallica. You guys suck. Lars Ulrich, you look like a weird Danish thumb.
You also don't like Chicago hot dogs, so
Kirk Hammett looks. Kirk Hammett can't sing
you
anymore.
look like a Chicago dog.
Kirk Hammett sucks. Have you seen him recently?
Yes,
They
he
suck.
looks. Yeah,
They're not good.
I don't disagree.
Hang them up, boys. You're done. At some point, you have to retire, and that point was 10 years ago.
Oh dang! You just hit yours 50 years ago.
Have you? I mean, like that. I think it was like 10 years ago when they were at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they had they had Ozzy come out and sing them, and they were doing a Kink song. I was like, man, these guys need to hang it up. You don't have it anymore.
Yep.
Like after he had his throat surgery, you don't got it. It happens. Like it doesn't take away everything you've done. It just means that forever the last memory I have of you is of you sucking.
Yeah.
Because I liked Metallica.
I don't know how we got here.
Enter Sandman was great.
Oh, because I was talking about music.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so on Twitch, like, that's another thing too. They have a live thing that goes where if I stream for 5 hours and in there I played 2 songs, I played a song from Metallica or like Megadeth, something like that. There's no audio in those portions of the stream. It's regulated. That's okay. I can understand that. But not being able to use the platform at all because of this would just be sucky. What's up?
What if it's a song that's in the game? Because you know how artists.
That's different.
If it's a
That's
song
different.
that's we had a question. What if it's a song that's in the game?
Yeah. Then it's fine. Because that's you're allowed to play whatever content that you're playing. Anything that's coming from that content is totally fine. It like if you play a
Which
game,
is such a weird
except
loophole.
the weird thing is, let's say you're on Twitch and you play Guitar Hero. Nope.
Yeah, you can't play.
Can't
you can't
do
play
it
that.
because they're songs performed by the original artists. So their
Which
thing picks up.
I think it's funny. There's an argument to be said that they're not performed by the real artist because I'm actually playing them. You know,
Yeah.
and if I do what if I play Guitar Hero right on Twitch, but I just miss every single note and it's on the version where it'll just go through the song no matter what?
Yeah.
Would that version be allowed because I didn't actually play?
I don't know. I think it's because it's still the song.
Also, you
Yeah.
know, I feel like there's a parody thing that you could get away with there because fair use is parody.
Yes.
So if we started singing Enter Sandman, but we made fun of it,
Yeah.
or we did it in a joking manner, exit light, I need more money. That's fair use.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can make fun of them with their song.
Right.
So I think that's weird that Twitch would have something like that.
Like an audio regulation system like that. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, because it's the same thing with YouTube. If you have audio on a YouTube video, you can't use it. And I think that copyright claims on YouTube is the stupidest thing that ever happened because it got so out of hand. You can't. Okay.
Oh, the Fine Brothers.
Well, the Fine Brothers thing, but no, just
Well,
okay, let's play.
Let's go ahead and do the Fine Brothers. What are they?
Oh, they wanted to copyright the word react. They wanted to copyright. Okay, somebody could post a video on here, post a video of this podcast, but so and so reacts to the really likable Geeks net neutrality, because you had that in your title. Reacts. The Fine Brothers could put a copyright claim on your video, and it goes into their network. And it goes into their network, and then they reap all the benefits from it.
They would have.
lost.
They obviously
They
because
lost.
that's stupid. They don't.
That's stupid.
They don't own they acted and they're I like the Fine Brothers and I liked their content, but then when they tried to pull this fast one, I was like, you guys
Get
are
outta
you guys
here.
are money grubbing.
Yeah.
And we have friends who have worked with them before, and
Brian
and
has
we've
worked with them. Yes.
I wasn't going to name drop them, but all right.
Well, we all know Brian was on the show and talked about it. Before.
Okay. Well, then
But
Brian's worked with them, and he says they're nice guys. But I was like, did you ever ask him about the shady stuff that they tried to do?
He's like, no.
No, and it's that's fine. But truth be told, they tried to pull a fast one.
Yeah,
they tried to get paid for something that wasn't theirs,
Yes, he did.
and they got caught. And then they were unapologetic about it
Yeah, they
too.
didn't
That was the thing that pissed me off the most. Is they had the response video to everyone saying that we hate you. You're awful. You're the worst kind of person. Why would you try and monetize other people's work when you guys were the ones who started the whole fair use argument, and now you want to monetize it?
Yeah.
Get
Get out of here.
Yeah, you lost
You had
all.
try to take everyone else's work away from them.
Yeah,
you can't
guys,
do that.
you guys, the React concept is based off of I'm watching somebody else's original content or whatever, and I'm reacting to it.
Yeah. I
Your
love that
entire system is based off
Yeah,
of
it's
other
based off
people's
of that.
content.
Yeah.
And you're gonna try and monetize it?
Yeah.
Come on,
Get out of here with
Get
that. And with that, it got to the point to where Let's Plays are such a big thing. Let's Plays take up a huge portion of the YouTube
Yeah.
market. Platform. There we go. The YouTube platform. And it got so big that Nintendo got involved. Remember, Nintendo was like, if you even play a Nintendo game, you can't monetize it, period. End of discussion.
Yeah.
Thanks for trying. People were like, "Bah!" Like freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather, though, that be a thing to where at least I can post the content than not be able to at all. That's the point I'm getting at. I know we trailed off about all this stuff, but the point is I would like to have... I don't mind internet rules and regulations. I think the internet needs to have rules and regulations and certain, laws and certain, whatever.
I mean,
But
it's no,
I
it's
should
no different
never
than any other
have
utility.
to be... It should never be regulated for its use, ever. Its use is to be... It's there whenever you need it. It's there however you want to use it, whenever you want to use it, and it's free, given that you pay for your service to use it, but the actual platform itself is free. And there's companies out there that provide free internet from people. They pay for it so you can access it. Can you imagine not being able to do that? Like, I would much rather have the internet have the rules and regulations that it has than not be able to use it at all.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, because
That
what
makes sense.
What rules and regulations have they passed that prevent me from accessing the internet? None. Any law that's been passed has been in order to facilitate my free access to the internet.
Yes.
So, I mean, people are always going to, and this is exactly what the opponents of, net neutrality will say, like, oh, we can't have government coming in and regulating everything. We're against overregulation, which is funny because, like, that's such a democratic, argument. Is like, generally you have people on the left who want more government oversight, and generally Republicans have always historically been less government intervention. This is not a comment, that's just historical fact. Left wing has always been about more government control and social programs. Right has always been about less government control and so on. But when you have Democrats like for, less government control of something, you should probably, like, it should perk your ears out.
Yeah. Any sort of regulation of anything that's free, it should make you go, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly.
Well, because that's the other thing that I say is like, okay, what's so bad about the internet? That what's on the internet, and what are people doing on the internet that need to be regulated? What's the point? What are you doing on the internet that needs to be regulated? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm educating myself with whatever I'm doing, whether it be graphic design or filmmaking, production, podcast production. I'm learning how to do web design and doing all these things. And then I'm also enjoying myself by watching certain personalities on the internet that aren't, tearing down any sort of, activist group or anything like that. They're just shows. And I'll shout them out. I watch the Game Grumps. I watch Good Mythical Morning. I watch all these streamers. Another Notch. I watch
Good Mythical Morning is a great.
I love Rhett and Link.
Yeah,
they're incredible.
They're very funny.
They're
Have you seen
great.
the Link in a park? And then
Link parking a Lincoln.
And then it's like Link in a park with Lincoln Park, and it's got like Chaz, and it's like Link in a park with Lincoln Park at Lincoln Park.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It was really good. That was fantastic.
I was so surprised that they actually got Mr. Han and
oh no,
Chaz.
it was Mike Shinoda.
Oh, was it Mike Shinoda?
It was Mike
and
Shinoda
Chaz
and
Chester Bennington.
I
keep saying Chaz.
Yeah.
Like I know him. I
Chester
don't know
Bennington and Mike Shinoda
Chester
with
Bennington.
Link.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was very.
It was
funny.
fantastic. At the end,
Because it was like they were not on any other part of the show. They were just in it for that 2-second joke.
Yeah.
Like,
it probably made me laugh so hard when it was like Lincoln parking at Lincoln Park.
With Lincoln Park.
In a Lincoln.
In a Lincoln.
I was like, oh my God, this is great. Yeah, it's fantastic. Anyways. But yeah, no, I love Good Mythical Morning. I love all these guys. And that's what I'm doing. I'm entertaining myself. And then I also am an entertainer. This is a form of entertainment for people.
Some people would think so.
I don't know why, but it's a form of entertainment. I also do streaming, which is me entertaining people live, playing video games or whatever I'm doing. I provide entertainment for people. I get satisfaction out of that. Why does that need to be regulated when it's already from the platforms that I'm producing the shows on already have rules and regulations.
Let's
doesn't make any sense.
Let's talk about the other form of thought policing. It's especially with YouTube. It's advertisements.
Yeah,
Advertisements on YouTube is how a lot of these personalities, make ends meet.
Yeah.
So when you had, I know we touched on it in our episode with Brian, I think.
Yes.
About how a bunch of advertisers were pulling their funding from YouTube, and how YouTube started demonetizing a lot of videos, and people were saying,
it was like an epidemic.
Yeah, and what's funny is that all those videos and all those guys who were doing those videos had the same thing in common. They were called alt-right, which is funny because, I mean, Sargon is not in any way right. First of all, he's British.
Right.
Second of all, he's liberal.
Yeah.
Like, he's liberal to the core. Dave Rubin is in no way anywhere on the right side of the spectrum.
Right.
He is very liberal. He talks about classical liberalism in every episode, but all of his stuff got demonetized. And you can say like, we were throwing around a graphic about Paul Joseph Watson, who is very much alt-right. But when you demonetize people's videos, I mean, Paul Joseph Watson doesn't need the money from his YouTube ads. He works for InfoWars.
Right.
And he makes money other places.
That's another place.
Well, here's the thing. Whether you agree with him or not, you're taking away his means of making money for arbitrary reasons. Because someone called him a Nazi, you shied away from it without ever actually having watched any of his videos. Is Paul Joseph Watson like a hardcore right wing? Yes. Is he a Nazi? No. And this is so funny, is historically, Paul Joseph Watson has always been on the opposite side of police shootings and abuse of power. He was one of the reporters who was threatened time and again for his stances about police brutality. And you're calling that guy a Nazi? You're calling Tim Pool a guy who is in no way, like, the guy started Fusion. He was a part of Vice Media. How is he Republican? How is he right wing at all? And it's just so
something to do.
No, I mean,
now has something to throw in his face.
Yeah, I mean, it's so ridiculous.
That's false. The majority of it's false.
But
anyway.
That's the thing, is anyone who disagrees with the progressive YouTube social justice narrative gets crucified with demonetization.
Yeah. So what do you think about their whole thing about you can't now have ads unless you have 10,000 views or whatever?
Oh no, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Is that the whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to keep using the word alt-right because that's what the colloquial term is for them. Like, people have called them alt-right so much that you can't get it out of your head.
Right.
Because that's on the rise. Because, like, and I think Paul Joseph Watson talked about this a lot, is that the alt-right is the new counterculture.
Yeah.
They are against the establishment, which is what counterculture is. And the establishment is the left view of political correctness. That's the establishment. In the 60s, the left was counterculture because the establishment was the right. It was about conservative views and ideologies. Now that shifted, as it does. It always shifts. The political establishment always shifts. We're currently in a shift right now where the conservative viewpoint is on the rise. So you're saying that, there's a new wave of conservatism, and it's the counterculture because the establishment has always been liberalism for the past 20 years, and you're gonna demonetize like the new rise. Like, come on. You're thought policing.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Totally. So what do you think?
And I'm hardcore libertarian.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever like talked to me at all, like I mean I have liberal parents, and I don't know. I'm slightly left of center, I suppose, if anything. But I'm libertarian. I always have been.
So what do you think is going to be the end all for net neutrality?
Honestly, I don't see Title II getting revoked. I honestly don't. The FCC is going to try because Ajit Pai, let's say his name correctly.
No, you don't have to.
He's in the pot. Well,
Douchebag, that's good too.
Because I'm gonna make fun of him right now.
Okay.
He is squarely in the pocket of telecom companies. He is a leech who takes money and who some would say is a prostitute because he has no political spine at all. He's been paid in order to enact a certain political agenda, and that's what he's going to do because he's a spineless little worm of a yes man.
And he's a square.
Yeah.
Pi squared.
Yeah. And he's got, and have you seen like how like, so you know, like when you had, I don't know if you ever had like a teacher in high school who was like early to mid 30s who like thought he was still in touch. And I know like I'm getting to that point and I'm like transitioning into that myself and I'm hopefully going to be better about it. Where he thought he still had his finger on the pulse of youth in America and he thought he was like the cool teacher.
Right.
But it just came off as like sad and shallow.
Yeah.
That's Ajit Pai. If you've ever seen his like Twitter feeds, it's like, oh, everybody loves my giant Reese's Pieces mug. It's so funny. Like I'm so cool. Everybody like me. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a
but it's just
douchebag.
It's just like
Oh,
that's how I hear him.
I want to take away internet freedom. Look at my cool Reese's mug. I really wish.
And people go like, "Oh yeah, it's cool."
I really wish Reese's Pieces, like as a company, would send him like an M&M like giant mug and be like, "Please don't use ours anymore." You know what I mean? We don't want
it'll be associated
internet
with you.
fascists to use our mugs.
We like the internet.
Yeah.
Just so you know. That's the thing is, who wants to tear down the internet? It doesn't make any sense.
No,
Why?
I'm sure
Because you're a jerk.
And here's the other thing is that
Stupid.
he pretends
You're
to
bullying.
not know the issues. He pretends like net ending Title II will protect the internet.
No, it won't.
And he knows that though.
Yeah, he does.
Because his entire career is based on tech legislation.
Yes.
Like his entire professional career is tech legislation. He's worked for Verizon as an assistant, attorney. Like he's worked in the FCC. He knows the technology.
Yeah.
He knows the laws. He knows what will happen if Title II gets revoked. So him coming,
plays
that makes it
oblivious.
even worse.
Yeah.
Is because he knows what he's doing and he's still like, I can understand, an 80-year-old senator from, Louisiana not understanding the internet.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not that guy's fault that he's old and he's out of touch with, modern times. But he pays staffers in order to explain it to him in terms that he can understand.
Yeah.
Ajit Pai knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to end internet freedom. He's trying to allow corporations to gouge its end customers, and he's smiling about it. So yeah, he's a disgusting
devil.
little worm of a person.
You're the devil.
Yeah, you suck.
Taking away my fun, jerk.
Yeah,
Not very nice.
he sucks.
You sucks. You're mean. So, all right, we need to wrap up.
Yep.
The end all is we want to keep our freedom on the internet.
Yeah.
And no jerk, nobody should ever try to take that away from you. So when anybody says they want to try to regulate the internet, there's already enough regulations on it. It's already pretty good. I don't think we don't.
Nobody has any complaints.
No.
They're trying to change it.
No, we really don't. So
What's next? The next step is that they're gonna this content on your website, it might offend someone, so you can't put that on the internet.
Yep.
That's the next step. Yep. Guaranteed. Because they've already started doing
don't
it.
listen to our Patreon podcast.
They've already started doing it in real life where they're like banning hate speech or what they declare as hate speech. It's like if you think that Milo,
but that's freedom of speech.
yeah, if you think Milo Yiannopoulos is gonna like somehow like corrupt America's youth with his speeches and you need to like physically and violently stop him, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing that I don't think we should stop Hillary from doing her speeches. As much as I disagree with her, I just ignore her.
Exactly.
I'm not going to violently protest and set fire to buildings and beat people with flagpoles and pepper spray girls who are just standing there minding their own business. It's disgusting. So
Fair.
yeah.
All right. Well, Thank you guys for listening to us talk about net neutrality. It's a very important issue, and this is why we're talking about it. It is a big deal. If you like the show, you want to continue to listen to it, then you want to be able to do that. Then you should realize net neutrality.
Yeah, if you guys want to leave your comments on the FCC, like I said, John Oliver has created his own website, and it's a direct link to the comments. It's gofccyourself.com. Makes it really simple.
Yep.
As much as the FCC tried to make it confusing,
it's not.
That's great. That's just a great website domain. Go
really
FCC yourself.
It's great.
It's fantastic.
You can listen to the podcast on iTunes and Google Play. Links will be down below. If you want to find us on all social media, you can visit reallylikablegeeks.com, and you can find all of our links to our YouTube and Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere else there. We also have a Patreon still. I want to make this clear because that's the only form of funding that we have for this show is Patreon. If you want to directly support the show, there's a bunch of rewards and tiers and awesome things that you can get from us.
You can decide what we talk about.
Yeah, you could be on the show even.
Skype you in.
You could be a producer. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go to patreon.com/likablegeeks. And check out the tier rewards. And if you feel like supporting the show, we would greatly appreciate that because we like doing this and we like to continue to do this. So it's patreon.com/likablegeeks. Check it out. And you can find me on Twitter at @StephenBrown.
And you can find me at Stu_no last name.
Thank you guys for listening to us rant and rave and talk about all this net neutrality nonsense. I know that a lot of it can be kind of boring.
Yeah, you can see me on Twitter. I'm trying to get Steve Shives to ban me.
Yeah, you are.
That's what I've been doing.
He's working really hard. If you want to watch some really funny stuff, follow Stuart and look at his tweets and retweets and stuff. It's fantastic. So thank you guys for listening.
The guy said that Star Trek was created by social justice warriors.
That guy's a crock.
It's a term that came out a year ago?
Something like
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Star Trek made by... Shut up, dude. You're an idiot. Lacey Green got red pill. Shut up, dude. What do you care? You're an idiot.
Thanks, guys.
I'm still trying to get him to ban me.
We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.